Hey, what's up? My name is Kristen. Today's video is another installment of my 2023 goals prep work series. In this video, we're going to talk about the categories that I have set up for my own little DIY goal setting system. So if that sounds interesting to you, please make sure you're subscribed and I'll be right back. I thought it would be good to start out the video by talking about some of the categories that you might already be familiar with. If you're familiar with other popular goal setting systems, this is a Moxie Life companion notebook that I have left over. I only used one of the set of 4 that it comes in. So this is a blank one I brought just to show you. And then this is a Clever Fox. It's just a regular weekly planner, but it has some goal setting stuff in the front. And then another popular one is the Power Sheet system from Cultivate What Matters. So let's talk about what those categories are first, because that helped me determine what categories I wanted to focus on. So Moxie Life has these 8 goal categories. We've got personal, fun and recreation, work and learning, family and relationships, health and wellness, spiritual and personal growth, financial and physical environment. Let's look at before I go into what all those meant to me, let's look at the Clever Fox one. We've got health and fitness, business and career, family and friends, relationships and romance, finance, personal development, fun and recreation, and spiritual. So there's a little bit of overlap there. And then Cultivate What Matters, I don't have those to show you. I don't have any power sheets, but the categories that Cultivate What Matters does are community, family, finances, fun and recreation, health and wellness, home and spaces, spiritual and personal growth, and work and learning. So there's a lot of the same categories in all these goal setting systems. So that, to me, right off the bat, told me that those are big main areas of life. Now, if you watched my goal setting mistakes video where I talked about the mistakes that I made within my own goal setting, I had too many categories, or I focused too much on each category instead of narrowing it down to the ones that were important to me, just because they existed. And I'm going to just move this out of the way because I really, my most recent stint of goal setting systems was done in a Moxie Life. So that's the most fresh thing in my mind that I can refer to. So for me, it was always really confusing. The personal, first of all, these are all personal goals because I can't work on anyone else's goals. So every goal is personal. And so I didn't understand why there was a separate category just for personal. And then all of the things that when I would ask what that meant, people would suggest things. And I think they even have a little cheat sheet. It might be in the annual book. I don't have it with me, but there's a little cheat sheet of things that you might consider a personal goal. And all of those things to me seemed like they fit into other categories. So it was really hard for me to wrap my head around that one. And I was constantly I don't know, overthinking it. And it was just muddling up my goal setting. The other issue I had with the personal category was that there was also this personal growth category. And so I just didn't get it. I don't understand. I'm also not a very spiritual person. And so that is out. So then it was just left with personal growth. And to me, that was the same problem I was having with the personal section. All of this is personal growth. It's in my mind, that's what it is. And no matter what I did to try to figure out how I could use that section, it just messed with my head. And so that's not a good category for me. The other thing is that my family and relationships category it was hard for me to come up with goals for that category because we already like have a really strong bond with each other in my family. I'm talking about my core, you know, me, my husband, and my son. We're very happy. We don't have like marriage problems. We don't have like problems between the relationship of parent and child. I say that now, we're entering the teenage years, so that could change even this year. But it's just, there was nothing that I could really think to include as a goal. And really, the things that I could put here also fell in the fun and recreation. So it was just kind of like redundant, and I was just coming up with things just to put them in the section, you know, and that wasn't helpful at all. So what I went ahead and did was I reduced my goal categories to 6 categories, and I'm going to show you what they are. So I've got fun and family. So I combined that family goal section thing with the fun and recreation thing. And the reason I did that was because we generally, like anything that we were thinking of that could be like a family goal fell into the fun category. Nothing, it kind of overlaps. That's where we're at in life right now. And so it worked for me to go ahead and combine those categories. And, what else did I do? I removed the spiritual and the personal completely. Like I just took them off the list. And then I added in creativity and content. And I'll get to more on that in a second. But let me just read out what my categories are. I've got fun and family, home, health, work and learning, financial, and creativity and content. So what I went ahead and did just for fun, because we're planner people, we're paper and stationery people, I color coded with my own. So what I always thought was really cool was the color coding system that Moxie Life has. And I love the idea of color coding. I still haven't really been able to make it work for me to mean anything other than colors are pretty, but I wanted to try with this, just to keep it fun and like something new, something like novel that would make me want to stick with this. And so I just went ahead and found the colors that I thought would work well. And how I picked these was I have these Post-it notes that I use on my Kanban board, this size Post-it notes. And so I knew I wanted to keep using the little Post-it pads from this set of this size, which I guess those are 2 inches by what, half an inch? Yeah. And so I just took those, picked the colors that I could find stickers and markers for in my stash, and just went with that. And so it ended up looking almost like the simplified rainbow, but this is just kind of what I came up with. All of the stickers here are from Planner Kate, and the marker and pen set, that is the Erin Condren dual tip dual ink marker. So the highlight is the chisel tip side, and then the writing color is the like pen, the fine point side. And so I just wrote down what color the markers were that matched, and then in this little label I just have the Planner Kate color code in case I do need to go order some stickers for some reason. These are the colors that I can either find on her site, or I can ask for a custom like color change to those colors. So the other last thing I wanted to talk about with my goal categories was that I went ahead and prioritized, or I thought to myself, what should I prioritize? I didn't mark it on here yet because I wanted to go ahead and like write that in on my goals tab here. Well, for creativity and content, to me, that is going to be like my, to borrow a Moxie Life term, a stretch goal. And I think the Cultivate What Matters calls that just big dreams or something like that. So the reason I picked that is because my channel and my Instagram and just things I do for fun and creativity, like really, I think nourishes me, but it also has the ability to be overwhelming and stressful. And so it's not a job. I am not doing like my channel and stuff as a job, at least at this point in time. I don't know, maybe I'm not gonna rule it out for the future, but for where I'm at right now in my life, it's really just a hobby. And yes, it's monetized, but I'm okay with that. And we'll go into that in another video if you're interested on my like philosophy on monetizing hobbies, but that's just definitely another video. So I didn't want to combine that with work and learning just because it's really like a hobby. I also didn't want to combine it with fun because it's just so, it's all encompassing. Like it's a big thing. There's a lot of moving parts. There's YouTube, there's Instagram. I want to start blogging again. I've been blogging for like a decade now, and not lately, but I've had a blog, and I want to like pick that back up. I really enjoy writing and like creating content, and I also just love the like act of like scheduling projects out and like just doing things like that. And I'm not really getting fulfilled with that, like with my current work situation. And so I knew I wanted to kind of create it for my own. The issue with that is that it is my own. So it's all entirely up to me. And if I decided to quit doing it, it's not going to affect my family in any way. It's not going to affect anything except just like my audience. But if for whatever reason I had to stop doing that, it's not mandatory, right? And so to me, it's like a dream. It's something that I can work towards. That's not going to make or break anything. It's like low pressure, but like high payoff, I guess you could say. And so that is what I decided was going to be like my stretch goal. I don't know what you want to, I don't want to borrow the terms from the other systems because I'm like creating my own thing here. I don't know what I would call that. Just a priority goal, I guess. Some other things that I wanted to note was that some of these things like health or home, those are more like SMART goals where I can actually check them off. I know when we find a new dentist, I know that that's done and that's checked off. Working on certain projects for our home, there might be some like overall big like projects, like for example, we want to like fix up the outside of our house, and there's a lot of smaller goals that make that up, like getting the house painted and doing the landscaping, that kind of thing. So, but each one of those projects can be checked off the list. And so to me, those are like SMART goals, and I would just schedule those out as it made sense for me. Some other things too, like the fun and family. We've talked about going on a couple of trips. We want to do like a monthly date night, that kind of thing. Those are things that can just be checked off. They can be planned in advance and checked off when they get done. So then like some parts of my health stuff, like I have here, it just says autoimmune stuff, but that's just for my own like maintenance of my issue. And so I know that the number one thing that I can do is maintain a certain way of eating. And that's not really something I can check off a list. That's more like a habit that I can work on. So it's something that I need to do, like regularly be thinking about and working on, and maybe finding a way to put that on like autopilot. I think I need to reread the Atomic Habits book, I believe it is. And then I read it a while back when it first came out. I actually took notes in it in a book just like this, and I can't find that book anywhere. So I'm gonna have to go reread the whole book. But I need to put some things in place to make my eating easier to stick to. that is usually going to be meal prep and just like filling up my water cup and stuff like that. So anyway, before I keep going and getting really long-winded with that, this is my 2023 goal categories for my DIY goal setting system. I'm actually really excited to like dive into this and talk about in the next video what my actual goals are going to be. This is just like suggestions that I kind of just wrote out, but I kind of dialed in a little more, and I want to, you know, share that with you in the next video. So hopefully you enjoyed this one, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you really liked it, please consider subscribing, because then you'll be, you know, my goal video, the next one in the series, will show up in your subscriptions list. So that's it for me. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.